Welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawks What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I am joined by my good buddy, Adam Emmerich. And of course, this could not be Seahawkers What If without the protector of this multiverse, that is Mr. Phil Leidick. Boys, we are 6-2. Boys, we have a shiny new toy named Shaheed. And now we get to go play a Cardinals team that might be a bit more feisty than their record shows us. Adam, how you doing today? Are you ready for some Seahawkers What If?
Well, first and foremost, I'm having fun because before we got on air, Clinton mandated that we had to have fun, and we're having a good time. So I'm mandating it onto the listener. You have to have fun as well. And because it is so fun to be here on What If, I can't wait to talk about this upcoming matchup with the Cardinals. I guarantee you that, Phil, you've got a crazy cool theme here for this week. I'm looking forward to it. What do you got for us for the Dirty Cards, and how you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. We might as well have fun. It was a fun game Monday night, mostly. If you were a Cards fan, they had a good time with their backup, now starting quarterback in against what was a top defense in the Cowboys coming into this game. But their defense handled pretty well. I have some of the stats from the DVOA up there. They're not great on their offense in a number of ways, but their defense is, I would say, slightly above average. Maybe not against the run, but overall they're slightly above average. They looked really good against Dak and the boys, forcing 3 turnovers. A couple were toward the end of the game during desperation. Sweat was getting regular pressure. He leads their team in sacks. He got a couple in this one. On 4th down, they held them boys down to 0-3, and I think the 3rd down stats weren't great either. They sacked Dak 5 times. They were giving up ground in the run game, so showing signs of them being that, not awesome against the run. They're old guys, the 2 OGs, Mr. Baker, Buddha, that is, and Mr. Campbell. They caused problems throughout. They're pretty savvy. They were doing some good stuff. On offense, Brissett, he can't move. He's a statue, but he finds guys that are open. And he did get sacked 5 times. I don't think he can do anything about it, either throw it away or take a sack if you start to pressure him. But he's much better, it seems, at getting Harrison the ball than what we saw with Kyler. I'm starting to find a little connection there. DeMercado had 5.6 yards per carry, and he was plenty good enough when they needed to call on him in this game. McBride's still good. Still one of the better tight ends in the pass game in football. Did you guys see anything else in this game, Adam?
I think you actually summed this up fantastically because, watching Calais Campbell go out there and do what he did in that game, it was just like, wow, man, he still has it. Sweat's clearly been a good signing for them. He has actually been coming throughout the year. And the idea of Brissett and what he brings to the offense and how he's changed it, you hit it right on the head, man. Like, he really plays professional quarterback, which is something that somebody like Marvin Harrison, who has come up around professional football his entire life, was finally like, oh, wait a second, I can do stuff because I've got a professional quarterback who's throwing me the ball instead of what I've been dealing with. So, yeah, man, I love the roundup here. Clinton, did you see anything else from this or from the game that maybe we're missing here?
Just 2 quick things. The Cowboys defense absolutely stinks, right? It's not a good defense.
That's right. They're garbage.
It's garbage. So, and we'll talk about obviously juxtaposing our defense versus their defense. So the things like DeMercado having a nice little day and stuff like that, that's fine. But they don't have a great defense, and they still got to Brissett, who does just kind of stand there a lot. So it'll be interesting. Much, much, much better and efficient team with Brissett. It's obvious. The other real quick thing too is the Cardinals rookies are, just starting to play. So their higher draft picks are now on the field, and they're being impactful. So I'm sure we'll talk about them as well too. But on both sides of the coin, our team is actually quite a bit different from the first time we met, and so are the Cardinals in some really significant ways. And I'm sure we'll get into all of it once we hear about this luscious theme, Mr. Phil, whatever it is.
The theme's going to be fun because Mr. Kyler, who never plays good up in Seattle, the coach says, I don't want to try that again. Let's either pretend like he's hurt. If he's not hurt, I don't care. He is benched. So Kyler has been benched. We are going against Jacoby Brissett. Lots of money be sitting over there on the bench in street clothes this game with Mr. Kyler. All of our titles, all of our categories have something to do with the word bench. I will warn you, The questions don't have to do with the bench so much. They have to do with the word that goes with bench, just to get just to help out a little bit. We're not just going to talk about bench players the whole game. I don't think that'd be very exciting if we just talked about Cardinal and Seahawks bench players the whole time. But the categories are bench warmer, ride the bench, Johnny Bench, bench marks, and we have ruling from the bench, and then we have off the bench. This will be our 9th game, which means Adam picks the first question. Where will we go, Adam?
Let's see here. I like let's see where the bar is. Let's go with benched mark.
Oh, you're going right to the one that's kind of the fun game we're going to have here.
Ooh, I get the daily double. All right.
Yes, right off the bat. I didn't expect we would do that, but why not? We're going to, I try to make this to where it's a little easier to follow. I'm trying to get better at this, but Adam, if we rank certain benchmarks you'd love to see in this matchup, I have 5 again, and you get to rank them 1 to 5. The green ones would be us, the red ones would be them, but we're all looking for 1 to 5. Would you like K9 to get 100 yards, Sam to get 1 sack or less, Brissett to have under 3 explosive passes, the Cards to have under 75 yards rushing, or number 11 and our new number 22 to combine for 200 plus receiving yards? These 5 benchmarks, Adam, rank them by what you love most.
Okay, I go K9 equals 100 yards in just because we need to get this run game just clicking a little bit more for me to feel like, hey, we can go toe-to-toe with anybody throughout any level of the playoffs and maybe even make a Super Bowl. So that is definitely number.
Yeah, I think he did have his best running game this year against the Cards the first time. Is that right?
He, good. He was like 18 for 81, I think. He was like solid throughout the day, yeah.
Okay,
it was a nice game. So I think it's in range. So K9 100 yards, Cards under 75 rushing yards, because Mike talks about it all the time. It's what we've preached on the podcast for years. If you can run the ball and you can stop the run, you have a great chance of beating anybody on any given Sunday. So let's continue that really great run defense. And I'm guessing there's going to be no Ernest Jones. I don't think that's a far guess here, as we haven't really heard much more about his injury to this point. Yeah. So for them to be able to continue their rushing defense and their dominance there throughout the game, I think would be a big deal. Then I would go 11 and 22 to have 200 plus receiving yards. That's just going to show that JSN and Shaheed really meshed together right out of the gate, and I think that would be super cool. And then I'd have Sam under 1 sack, just to have one more data point of this offensive line playing really good pass pro. I think that matters. And then the last thing is Brissett with under 3 explosives, and that's because I don't think he's capable of 3+ explosives. So, I'm just not worried about it. So that would be the way I rank him. K9, 100 yards, Cards, 75 under rushing, 11 and 22, 200 plus receiving yards. Sam equals 1 sack max, and then Brissett.
I love all the fun numbers we have on our team now. 11 and 22 is just a really cool.
I hate the 22 as a receiver. Hate it.
1-2
that needs to be changed.
Oh, it's cool. It's going to make us cool.
Oh, nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't mind it. It's not. It's a nice number in general. I like 2-2.
Go ahead and rank him, Clinton. So otherwise, Adam and I don't argue about something that doesn't matter whatsoever.
That's funny. All right, so let's argue about what really matters here. I love this. This is good. Fun game, Mr. Phil. So look, this is a really nice defensive line by these Cardinals, and now you got Walter Nolen, their rookie, stepping up, and he's sitting next to Calais Campbell, and man, they can make some noise. So give me that Sam less than 1 sack or less. I think that's a big metric.
That'd be cool.
Really fun. Just continue seeing that pass pro being, I think we're now ranked 4th best pass pro by certain metrics, right?
And least sacks in the league.
Least sacks in the league. Let's keep that going because, look, yes, we want all the running back things to happen for us as well, but we are explosive with our pass game, so let's keep at it. So that's number 1 for me. Number 2, I do want to keep the Cards under 75 yards. Adam said it already, so I won't repeat it, but I think it's really, really important. So that's number 2. I will just go with, I'll go 11 and 22 to get over 200 yards. Reason being, got to think back too, this was JSN's quote unquote worst game of the year, where he only had 79 yards receiving, which is awesome for a worst game. He really didn't explode until late in the game when we needed him, when the Cardinals got back into the game. But it was also his flu game, if you remember. He was sick all week, and he got sick at the very end of the week, and he might not play. And maybe he was a bit decoyish until they needed him. So if we're at 200 plus yards between our new toy and JSN, well, then JSN had another great day. I love that. K9 to 100 is great. And then Brissett under 3 explosives. It matters, but not too much. I'd love to see K9 get a really strong, man, can we get 20 attempts from K9? 18? Can we get 18 attempts from K9? That'd be so nice.
Yeah.
I want that again. I want that again.
Yeah. Nobody wants the Brissett under 3 explosive plays. Maybe we just expect that at this point. Well,
No,
Clinton, you said we're supposed to have...
It's a good one, but they are force ranked, right? It's like the brain processing, I think, Mr. Phil, is if the other things happen, then Jacoby getting a couple of explosives won't matter all that much.
Got it. No, I think you're right. I think you guys are probably right. So benchmark is gone. Clinton, you required that we have fun. We're trying to have fun. We know Kyler will have fun playing Call of Duty over there on the bench. Where will we have fun going next, Clinton?
Mandated big red machine fun. Give me Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench. And when we go to Johnny Bench, guess what we have to include when we go to Johnny Bench? Any guesses?
Well,
I don't know. It's baseball reference, so no.
What's he famous for?
Ben Gay.
Quotes. He's famous for quotes,
okay.
guys.
People was Yogi Berra.
Well, it is Yogi Berra also.
That's right.
Yeah, but
that's right. Yogi Berra as well. One of Johnny Bench's great ones. Slumps are like a soft bed. They're easy to get into and hard to get out of.
Nice.
So, Clinton, what if you tell us how K9 and Sharps can end their what seems to be season-long slump of no big games? I mean, we're not getting the home run game from them. What might be the key in having that take place in this matchup? Because it's not like they're not getting attempts. How can we unlock them having a big game?
Well, I think you said the key word in there, and the word being, or maybe the compounded word being, home run. That's what's been missing also.
Yes.
It's not, the typical K9 game is not, his game is not that far off of games in the past, but he would do what he's doing, and then there'd be like a 45-yard scamper to the house in there. Yeah. And that has not been there. Even Sharps last year, he actually had more breakaway runs and more longer touchdowns than K9 did all last year, like by a decent amount. So I think that is the missing ingredient to at least the stats looking better, and maybe the
fear
the
factor.
joy. Yeah, well, the feel of like, ooh, this thing's popping again because you broke a big one. Now, I will say, I'm not too sure the Cardinals are the exact team to get this against, because I think, and why is that? I respect their DB room. I think their DBs and their safeties and such, of course, part of the DB room, are actually pretty good and can tackle. So usually you get these broken plays, 52-yard scampers, because dudes just don't know what they're doing. They take terrible angles and they can't tackle a running back in the open field. I think the Cardinals are actually pretty good at that. But that would cure it, Mr. Phil. We'd look down and be like, oh, K9 was 14 for 91 with a touchdown. The touchdown was like 36 yards. That would cure it.
Cowboys had a couple decent ones. They didn't have your 45-yarder, but they had a couple in the 20-yard range. So it's not impossible. They were finding some of those. How about you, Adam? Could we end the slump of no big games in this one? How might they be able to do it?
Are you talking about big games in terms of just total yards at the end of the game in stats? Or are you talking more about
field flipping, fear factor game from our running back, not just doing the thing so that our pass game can win?
Okay, because I think what you've been seeing is exactly what you're describing. I think this is a false narrative.
Okay.
Because everybody's talking about how, well, the Hawks, run game needs to get on track and all that. And then they seem to focus on this idea of explosive runs. And it's like, they're getting 10, 12, 15-yard runs every game. Like, it's happening every single game. And it's happening so much that it's actually putting the fear into the defenses. That's why we're seeing so many single high looks. That's why we have the highest rate of heavy boxes that our offense faces in the entire league. It's literally, they're literally putting the fear into the other team so that they change their behavior, so that then you can have more success with explosives in the pass game. So I don't see this run game as being massively off track or that these guys are in a slump. I think that this is exactly what it should look like when the league responds to the style of offense that you're playing. And the league has said, look, we're more terrified of you guys beating us by cramming it down our throats than we are of Sam Darnold and JSN. Will that change going forward? Probably. I think it will. I think there's going to be a day where we're going to stop seeing so many single high safety looks, and we're going to see a lot more shell coverage. And then at that point, that's going to break the slump. It's all complementary. I don't see this as a slump at all. So I don't know what they need to do to break a slump that doesn't exist. That's the way that I would put it.
I mostly agree with your overall point. I don't know how many 15-yard runs we've had, but are we getting one every game? Maybe 15-yarder?
Over 10 yards for sure.
Yeah, typically K9 will get one that's like a 16 whatever. Like he'll have one of those, usually one. But sometimes too, we're seeing them get like they pop it and then there's some chop block or something getting called back where it has nothing to do with the play, not even a hold that opened the hole. So we've seen that a couple times too. One very quick point I want to throw out there, we don't need to debate it now, is just that with the introduction of Shaheed, Adam, we're seeing so many people down the box because we have so many condensed formations and we're in 12 personnel lot, which forces the hand of the DCs until it doesn't. I just wonder if we're going to get a little bit more 11 personnel, and that allows that change you're talking about. And is that a good thing? Maybe we could discuss that later. I just don't know, because we're scoring 29 points a game against some good defenses. So another great catcher quote, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Sure.
But with Shaheed, I mean, we got the guy for a reason. And, I think he's going to be out there. So I think we'll see more 11 personnel potentially. So it'll be just really cool to watch to see, like, can the run game exist like the Rams do really well with 11 personnel and still run the ball really well? Can we get to that level? That'll be really kind of cool to see.
So my one question about this, because I've heard this discussed a lot, and I think it's a reasonable question to have. Hey, with the addition of Shaheed, is that going to put us more into 11 personnel? But my question becomes, how many receivers is JSN? Is he one receiver?
Yes.
Okay, so if you were going to play him with Shaheed, how many receivers would that be on the field?
Dos.
Two receivers. Then how many tight ends could you put on the field when you have two receivers? Like, and what does that equal? That equals 12 personnel.
Yeah.
I don't think that the addition of Shaheed necessarily predicates that you have to be an 11 personnel to get the best out of him. I think they're looking at it and being like, we'll take Cup off the field, whether or not he's healthy or not, and we'll put Shaheed into that role. And now we're threatening defenses in a way that they weren't threatened throughout the entire year. And you don't even have to get out of the things that is working very well for you.
Yeah, I like that point as well, Adam. And I'm thinking you split your two game breaker receivers out wide, then good luck putting single high safety. One of them is going to torch you. You cannot solo JSN or solo Shaheed if they're out wide. You just can't. That's just crazy. That's suicide to do that. And so I'm hoping that maybe that's part of the answer to this question. We get a little more too high, all of a sudden there's chances to get some of those bigger runs, even in 12. Yeah, I like that additional thought that you put there. All right, so we're done with Johnny Bench. Took a little time on him. We have 4 choices left. Adam, where are you going?
Let's go to my most comfortable place in all of sport, and that's being a bench warmer, because that's all I did when I played sports, because I'm just a regular guy who tries hard.
Bench warmer, which is what Mr. Murray is going to be doing this week. Marvin Harrison Jr. is beginning to warm up. What if you can tell us how we can cool his jets just a little bit now that he has, as you called it the opening, Adam, a professional quarterback throwing him the ball? What should we do to deal with him?
I really think that for Harrison, a lot of his struggles have been 3/4 half mental. Like it's all in his head. So if you can play some sticky coverage on him early and have some contested balls, and he doesn't see it, quote unquote, go through the hoop by having some easy catches, I think it'll get into his head a little bit and make it difficult for him to keep his concentration level where it's been with Brissett out on the field, which has clearly boosted his production. It's boosted his confidence. Yeah. I think he feels like he knows where to be and the ball's going to be there on time, and it feels normal instead of playing in the frenetic, chaotic Kyler Murray offense. So I think if you can just kind of keep him from catching a rhythm and just break up a pass or two early, I think that really cools his jets going forward.
Good call, yeah, because he was catching important passes throughout the game.
Yeah.
And so how about you, Clint? You have some ideas how we can deal with him, slow this man down before he just takes off?
Yeah, this is a great question because, I know there's going to be Arizona fans watching this, and I like the fact that they could see us thinking through these things, being like, look, this guy's a second-year guy, and it's been a little lumpy for, Marvin Harrison Jr., but if you take the 30,000-foot view, he's been good and ascending and getting better and catching more important things and being more clutch in the red zone. So that's, he's emerging as a very legit receiver, and it just maybe took a little longer because he was drafted fourth overall. With that, look, man, let's let Tariq Woolen go do what he does best. Let Tariq Woolen go play some man coverage against Marvin Harrison, and then let the best athlete win, because I'm going to tell you, Woolen's going to win that more often than not. Not that Harrison is going to get shut out. I don't see that happening, but I'm very willing to put Woolen on Harrison and say, okay, go do your thing, play man. We'll rotate zones. We'll do some other stuff to the other side of the field, because you're looking at Zay Jones, Michael Wilson, just dudes, Greg Dortch, they're fine and below fine.
It's really McBride and Harrison that you.
Of course, yeah. And McBride, we've got, and without saying too much there, we've got really good, I think, concepts and weapons to mitigate tight ends, or at least contain them to like stuff between the 20s, right? Most often. So that's what I would do. I would let Tariq loose to go play man and let the chips fall where they're going to fall. And I think it'll turn out pretty solid to our side if we do that.
Do we expect Woolen to play outside of nickel? Do we know anything about the health of our DB room right now?
I mean, Job is in the concussion protocol, right? And he got really smacked hard. So we won't know until we're recording this on Wednesday. We won't know until that report comes out. So right now we don't know about Ernest Jones. We don't know about Job. The protocol for concussions is pretty routinely, you take at least a week off nowadays. We'll see. So I think that would basically insert Tariq right back in on the outside, and I think that's fine.
Which is a better matchup for us, maybe. Did you have something on that, Adam, with the health of the DBs? Not really.
Not particularly, other than just you bang your noggin that hard in, to Clinton's point. They seem to be keeping guys out a little bit longer on all that stuff, which as a fan, you always want your dudes out there, but also as a fan, smart, let's do that, and let's take care of these guys for their long-term health.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we still have another corner, because DBs just don't stay healthy throughout the year and through the playoffs. Trading away Woolen idea had me a little bit scared, to be honest. Clinton, we have 3 options left up there. Where do you want to go?
All right, let's go with off the bench. That sounds like fun.
Off the bench.
Or bench off the, depending on your.
Unfortunately, Kyler will not be coming off the bench, unfortunately for us. What if there's one player you think may go off in this matchup, Clinton? Who do you see potentially having a nice game on either team? You can focus on one of ours, focus on one of theirs, throw in one of the other. However you want to handle this question, Clinton. Who might go off in this game?
I love this. Thank you. Glad, sometimes you ask a question, you're kind of glad you got it first, because you're like, ooh, I want to take the first answer off the board. My answer. Look, I'll tell you who stinks, and that's Jonah Williams, their right tackle. He's bad. He's bad at football, and he's he's not a good tackle. He gets abused weekly, and I don't think they faced anything like us. Yes, they faced us before, and DeMarcus Lawrence hurt his quad early in the game, and Eamon was not playing yet, and Spoon, I think, was either injured or we were not the same team we are right now. When you combine Jacoby Brissett's inability to move and you have a bad right tackle with our edge package and the way we do the sim pressures, and every single week, Macdonald is creating scenarios where he gets free runners. He's just getting free shots at the quarterback. Last time we saw it, it was Spoon, and it was Okada's amazing tiptoe tapestry out there, right? Beautiful, beautiful interception by Ty. All that being said, look, there's some dudes who have not eaten this year yet, mainly Derek Hall and Mafe. Fine, sure, good, all those things. I expect the edge group to have a pretty big game and really abuse Jonah on the edge there. He's not good at football.
And Nwosu's just been lighting it up. I was wrong about him coming in. I thought he might be done with his career. It's just going to be a sub guy here and there. But, boy, he's a difference maker. Adam, he picked edge guys going against their poor right tackle play. Someone that might go off in this matchup, Adam.
Well, first, just to agree with you guys, eating the Nwosu pro
he did it.
It's been fun. And I'm really
We love
excited
that.
for him in what he's been doing. But I look at this matchup and I see the Cardinals offense, and they really are McBride centric, right? He's the straw that stirs that entire drink for that entire offense. And Clinton brought it up. No Eamon Worry last time we faced the Cardinals. He's going to be out there. He's going to be matched up on tight ends. We've seen it. This is his chance to kind of ease some of people's concerns regarding his coverage ability and all of that. And McBride's a premium matchup. And I think he's going to take this matchup seriously and personally. And I really do believe he's going to have a nice game locking up Trey McBride. And when I say lock up Trey McBride, keep him under 15 receptions and like 3 touchdowns for a change, right? Like, guy, I don't know what his stats were last time, but the guy just seems to eat wherever he is, right? Like whoever he's playing, he's freaking awesome. So Eamon Worry having a very effective game against McBride would be huge for the team in terms of their success, and also massive in terms of Nick's development going forward. So that'd be my choice.
Yeah, I know that you were using a little bit of hyperbole for the stats, but if E-Man can stop him from moving the chains on those 3rd and longs, I'll be happy with that. I'd be plenty happy with that.
Love that. Love that.
Off the bench is no longer there. We have ride the bench or ruling from the bench. Adam.
I've always wanted to be a judge because I just think I'd do it better than the people that do it. So let's go with a bench ruling. Like, I want to rule from the bench.
A bench ruling for Adam. What if the Hawks can rule this game from the trenches? Where might you see advantages or concerns? Okay, so Clinton already took the top answer off with the right tackle that they have, but do you have some other advantages, or how about some concerns in this matchup with the trench play either side?
Well, the rookie came back last week for the Cardinals, Nolen, and he had an effective game.
Yeah,
he made some big plays. And so you pair him with Campbell and some of the other defenders up there. I do think that they could make it almost tough for the Seahawks in their pass pro. And definitely, though, I do think they can make it a little tougher on them in the run game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the real advantage. So, like, I'm coming into this game, guys, in, like, my brain tells me we have a massive advantage defensive line to their offensive line. And Brissett can't move. It's going to be a long day for him. Cool. Big check mark for us. You know, we're coming in red hot. All of the stuff, right? But you go through the whole matchup, and there's just a lot of positive matchups for the Seahawks versus the Cardinals that you feel really confident with. But then I look at it, I've got this other half of my brain that goes, this is the ultimate trap game.
Yeah.
And so my biggest concern is riding high, people talking about us as a Super Bowl contender, division game.
That's
at
like the next
home.
question category, Adam. You're like already getting
Okay. All right. So, like, in terms of matchups, like, it feels like in the trenches, man, I feel like we have a big advantage kind of going both ways, with the advantage being lesser when we're on offense especially our pass protection. I think it's really good. I think they're better than the rushers that they have, but it's not as wide a delta as the opposite matchup.
I'm with you. I feel better about our tackles against their, I mean, they have Sweat, but their interior defensive line does concern me just a little bit, being disruptive, and I hope we have a plan for them. Clinton, how about you? Any concerns and big advantages? You talked about one, their right tackle, and Adam talked about their interior D-line. Any other ones that you can throw out there for us?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just maybe a click down further from what Adam was getting at is for me it's still the interior of their defense. They're big, they're powerful, and you know, Calais Campbell, Tomlinson, and now Walter Nolen specifically. That's a triad that I'm not going to say it's as good as, you know, as Leo Reed and Murphy, but it's pretty close, you know, which is to say something, because I think our trio might be the best in the league. And yes, Walter Nolan's done it for exactly one game now. So, you know, before I'll pump the brakes myself there, but he did show out. He was quite good. The advantage that the Cardinals are going to have is, yes, we're going to try and run the ball. And those exact type of players are exactly who, you know, like Gray's able to struggle with from a strength perspective when trying to run, or Sundell, who is athletic but not the most powerful guy. similar things like, they can get a little pushback.
And there's one other interior lineman you haven't mentioned. So what are you going to say about him?
Well, Bradford actually is the strongest of the three by far,
Yeah.
right? So he's actually the one who should be able to hold his own from.
And he's the worst targeter in the league.
Oh, his hands and his stance and everything else are
targeting
different
in the run game is
he gets turned around quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see. Can we get? I think the thing to watch, which is probably how to crystallize it for the folks listening and watching, is can we run at all effectively inside the tackles, even inside the guards? Can we get any of that counter game going through what is the middle? I don't know. I think K9 could get out to the edge a couple times. We saw JSN get out to the edge on a bit of a end around type last week against the Commanders. But that's a little riskier living out there, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I would focus. Is I expect Calais Campbell to do Hall of Fame Calais Campbell things, which is move dudes who are not as powerful as him around. That's advantage Cardinals, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I fear them a little bit in the pass game. I haven't seen them or statistically seen them do it in the run game that much, but maybe now that they got their whole group there, they just might. Ruling is gone. Adam was already ready for this question. Riding the bench. So we talk about riding, Clinton. The Seahawks come in riding high. What if you tell us about any areas where carelessness could knock us off our high horse? We're all looking ahead to that Rams game, but this team is tougher than the Commanders that we just faced. So what kind of carelessness concerns might you have with this one, Clinton?
So I'll tell you. I'll start with what I don't have a fear of.
Okay.
I do not have a fear of a Mike Macdonald team falling into the national media trap. That I don't fear that. I just don't. I think he's got the right mentality. Now that's got to go all the way through to all the players, and they need to ignore the power rankings and Colin Cowherd's putting us in the top 3 and 4, et cetera, et cetera. But I think we have the right constitution to kind of stay level that way. So where do I have a bit of a game like this, I feel could change on something like special teams. And now you might say, well, we've been basically the best special teams unit in the league, and that's pretty factual.
Yeah.
But it's also like, is there a regression coming? Is there, like, Brandon Peely runs down on kick coverage and gets an amazing fumble, and then a play later we're up 21-0 versus the Commanders. This type of game, you get some sort of a special teams turnover or a return for a touchdown or something like that. It could really tilt the scales. Vegas has us as almost a 7-point favorite, 6.5 points. So they expect us to win. But I think this is going to be a bit more clinchy close than that into the fourth quarter. And often when that's the case, maybe it's a field goal kick that goes through or does not go through. Maybe it's a fumble on special teams. That's, we've been really high and really good all year there. Can we maintain it for the second half of the year? I hope so. No reason to think we can't, but it's an area where it's like, if there's going to be some regression to the mean, it's probably there.
I'd like to encapsulate that a little bit for everybody, because one of our biggest advantages in most games, but maybe even more so in this game, is special teams. But maybe your point is something really weird, negative needs to happen a few times. By us being thinking that we're so awesome that this could never happen to us, and then we give something away. Is that kind of what you're looking at there, Clinton?
I think so. I think that's it. I think it does come down to potentially just taking care of the ball. We talk about carelessness, taking care of the ball for all 4 quarters, and not letting a Cardinals team back in a game, not letting a Texans team back in a game, not letting a Jags team back in a game. Because that's a form of carelessness, is letting those teams hang around in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Adam? Areas of concern where carelessness could get us?
Yeah, honestly, there's, like I was saying, the one half of my brain where I'm like, just matchup wise, straight up football, X's and O's. This is a massive mismatch. Is it as massive as the Commanders game? No, Cards are better than that, no doubt. But logically speaking, this should be a, fairly easy 1-score victory when it's all said and done. Now, with that said, the other half of my brain is right where you're at on this, Phil. Coming off a huge win, national media's going off, talking about Super Bowl stuff. You got Rams on the horizon. You're playing a divisional game. at home where you haven't been as good against a Cardinals team that seems to come in with backup quarterbacks to Seattle all the time and do crazy things that you would never want to see. And I'm listening to Coach Gannon in his presser with, not presser, but coach's interview on Arizona Sports Radio last night. And I hated what I heard because they asked him about the Brissett situation, and he kind of announces it that Kyler's going to be out for a while. It's just going to be Brissett and all of that. And you know what happened for the rest of the interview? He was happy. He was relaxed. He was relieved.
Yeah.
Because I look at this Cards team and I'm like, oh man, all the chaos swirling around the quarterback position. Like it's going to be like they're going to have a hard time, getting through all of that because, chaos really is a killer of NFL franchises through a season. And with that said, I'm going to have to turn off my camera and turn it back on. But I don't think that they have chaos at all with this change at quarterback. In fact, I think it's settled them down. I think they're happy. I think they're relieved. So the Cards are playing a little better football. They're in a better headspace. They're coming to Seattle where we haven't played as well as we have on the road. And Clinton said he's not really worried about a Mike Macdonald team being able to filter out the noise. And I think for all the evidence we've seen up to this point, that's a solid point. But we also haven't seen them ever in the Mike Macdonald era talked about in the light that they're being talked about right now.
Yeah.
The press clippings are huge. Sam's an MVP. We're going to the Super Bowl. All that stuff. This game is like the quintessentially defined trap game.
Yeah.
It really is, and it makes me nervous.
Yeah, I could see that. And meanwhile, they're
And
thinking
divisional games are weird.
they've had, like you're describing, this giant cedar wood splinter in his big toe, and putting Kyler over there on the bench has been extracting that painful poisonous splinter from his toe, and he's like, I'm gonna have normalcy on my offense now. So yeah, that's a little bit terrifying, no doubt about it. Well, we got
guys,
through all of our main. Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
real quick, I do have some breaking news, so that because when we do shows and then people are like, you didn't talk about this, I always have to go back and comment and say, yes, that's why we said we record it Wednesday morning. That's okay. We appreciate the comments.
We don't have a crystal ball. It had to happen.
Yeah. But with getting some news here that Ernest Jones, he will be a limited participant. He's practicing today as limited. So
Whoa.
that's at least quite bullish, if we're going to go with the right terminology there, Adam, for him to get back on the field. Now, whether or not he gets back this week, we'll see as the week goes on. But that's way better than he's nowhere near the practice field. He's, that's a nice step in the right direction. So Ernest Jones practicing today in limited fashion. Not bad.
That makes me feel good. I love that.
Same.
You know what
That's
else makes
exciting.
me feel good? Are From the Flock folks that throw wishes in the wishing well, because I know some of these wishes come true every single week. And it's a lovely thing when they do. Here's some of our wishes that were put in the Discord. Adam, how do people get access to our Discord? Could you remind me, please?
Oh, just go to getintheflock.com. You sign up on the Patreon at $3 a month or above. It gets you into the Discord. You get to make your wishes for what if. You get to put in your ins and outs for 3 in, 3 out. And we read as many of these as we can on each and every show. And it's a great way to participate and get your voice heard on the show, because the show ultimately is for you. And we love being able to include all y'all in the process.
Yeah, and we chat and share articles and all kinds of information throughout the week between games. Have a good time there in the Discord. It's a great place. Witherfork has a wish. Number 1, Hawks, don't let a divisional game that shouldn't be close make us all have our blood pressure meds out. Yeah, I'm afraid it could be close, Witherfork. I'd like it not to be, but there's a chance it will. Bunny gets a wish in, and the wish is finish them. And that's a very famous fighting individual there. And is it Mr. Bruce Lee, isn't it?
That's
Is
got to
that
be Bruce Lee, yeah.
the picture?
Yeah,
looks like Bruce
absolutely.
Lee. Okay, and then we have Amy. This is her weekly wish. The run game gets going with a question mark. She said if it doesn't happen this week, she's changing it to a frowny face. But Josh, wish Rashid Shaheed gets a touchdown in the passing game and a return for touchdown in his first game as Seahawk at home in front of the 12. Now that would be really fun. Living the good life. Don't let the Cards come into Seattle and hang around. Do not let them hang around. Car, she's wishing what some of us are, 100 yards for K9. Let's get his first century game this week. That'd be fantastic. JSN Jiggy with it. At least 4 sacks on Jacoby. So one less than the Cowboys. That'd be okay. And then one of them needs to be a Minotaur sack.
Nice.
What's the Minotaur dance? Does anybody know?
Oh, the dance. I don't know. That's got to be something to do. Well, he's got horns, right? So probably something to do
Horns
with
and hooves, baby. So I don't know, something to do with that.
H&H.
Hard
H&H.
telling.
I like it.
I don't
But
want to cramp on Derek Hall's creativity here. Like, dude,
Okay.
go for it.
A Minotaur dance would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Chosen. I wish Rashid makes an instant impact and gets a touchdown catch of 35 plus and 2 forced turnovers for our defense. That'd be good as well. Bunny wished for more wishes, so maybe broke the wishing well rule. I don't know, but has 2 more. No more injuries. Okay, you can put that one there. We do not want more injuries. And then his third wish, E-Man caught the media's attention with that game. Now win their hearts with a sack, an interception, and 100% terror across the entire field of play. So E-Man's taking on all 11 guys out there. Bunny's wishes got more and more exciting as we went. Any of these wishes stand out to you, Clinton?
Oh, I like the idea of Rashid Shaheed having an immediate impact. It's just fun, right? It's just nice. You know, you get a new car or something like that, or you put something into a new investment and check the stock the next day and it's like up 8% the very next day. And you're like, ooh, that was a good job. Just for the pure fizz of it and just for putting the fear into the rest of the NFL for what you were saying earlier, Mr. Phil, that like, if now's you can't leave, right? It's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when we get JSN and Shaheed going out there on the outside? That'd probably be the most fun, most exciting moment if Shaheed could break one big and it's like, oh, dude, that's a cool trade.
I like that. And kick returners are really good in the screen game.
Yeah.
So maybe he can get one of those easy passes that way. They know how to kind of read those things. Any of these jump out for you, Adam?
Yeah, I'm right on board with Clinton and a lot of the different wishes in here because my first wish was going to be for Shaheed to have 2 big completions that take the top off the defense through the game. They don't have to be touchdowns. Like, if they are, great. But, like, you know, just the act of doing it, because I think eventually that's going to lead to more shell coverages, which is going to get Amy's wish to come true, that the run game gets going, and it all feeds together and it works on a loop. So that had been initially it. So I had to change my wish on the fly here, and I've got one loaded up and on deck. But I'm on board with all the little flockers here, and Clinton, I'm right there with it.
Nice.
Adam is ready for his wish adjustment. I've got my paper out to write it down. Last week you wished for Arroyo to have a big breakout game. He did get a nice touchdown. He caught another ball.
Yeah.
That counts.
With his bicep. That's what's impressive. Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So it was a nice game for Arroyo. Adam, you get to go first on the wish. You said you're going to make a change. So what is your what if Super Hawk for this week?
All right. So oftentimes divisional games, they can get squirrely and they get tighter than they need to be. You may lose a dumb one at home to a backup quarterback, Colt McCoy. I don't want to see that again. Like that's the thing that I fear the most about this game. And the way that you prevent that and make sure that that can't possibly happen is 0 turnovers. I hope the offense commits 0 turnovers throughout the game. I think that ensures a victory for the Seahawks right there. And I know that's pretty baseline analysis for sure, but in this type of game, it's more important than ever.
0 turnovers for the offense. That'd be fantastic. Kyler never wins up here, but you're right. A lot of worse quarterbacks have, and Jacoby's probably better than some of them that have. Clinton, what's your what if Super Hawk for this game this Sunday?
So I definitely hinted at it earlier with one of the answers for one of the questions. And with that, I like to put some numbers to things too. So let's see Hall and Mafe. Doesn't matter how they get there. 1.5 sacks combined by those 2 dudes. Now they don't have to both eat. So if Hall gets 2 or Mafe gets 1.5, I consider the wish to be fulfilled. But Hall and Mafe, 1.5 sacks. They get off the schneid collectively. And man, Hall's been so close. Maffei's been close a couple times earlier, but Hall is right there. And with their tackle situation, let's get after it. Let's get Brissett on the ground, and let's just get those two guys. They're contributing, but let's get them a little bit of that love from the sacks. Just do something else in the NFL, right? The fanfare, et cetera, the energy they bring. I want to see
drives. The in drives.
Yeah, exactly. They are drive killers, man. It's even more so than a 3-yard loss on first down with a run. That helps. You're in 2nd and 13. It really helps. There's just something different about, 2nd and 13 or 3rd and 11 where you just took a 6-yard sack or something like that. It's just a different feeling out there on the field. So yeah, Mafe Hall, 1.5 sacks and or more.
I guess I could have used them for the Johnny Bench question. Didn't even think about it. I mean, they've been effective, just like our running backs have been effective, but it's the home runs that are missing from those two groups. And I really think they're coming. And actually, this makes me more excited from our team because we haven't seen the big moments from all the groups yet. They're in spots where it's coming. So, I mean, as much as it scares me that people are putting us number 1 in the power rankings, I think this team has quite a bit more. And this is the other area we could have put. Like, they're just waiting to get one of those games where they start getting the sacks. Okay, 0 turnovers from the offenses. Adam, Clinton, Hall, and Mafe combined for 1.5 sacks. So now we must get to predicting the score. We had Brandon come in and $1 Adam with his Price is Right prediction.
Good job.
And helped Clinton increase the lead over his longtime competitor at this game. Adam, what score? You have to go first this time. What score are you planning to predict?
I'm going to go with 21-17. And it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a pucker game. And we're going to have to see Sam really come through in the clutch again against the Cardinals. And that's what's going to take this weird, wild, wacky divisional game against a Cardinal team with a backup quarterback that always plays us tough at home for like no reason. It's just the way it always goes. So I'm going with history here, something tight.
21-17. I like that our predictions usually come true on who wins because, well, we've won 6 of 7 games, and we usually predict Seahawk victories. There was a time when it wasn't always that it wasn't quite like this, but I'm hoping it continues. Adam has predicted a win, 21-17. How about you, Clinton?
I've got the same delta, slightly different conclusion, but it's still a Seahawks W. 27-23 Seahawks. I think we're going to score more than 21. So 27 sounds good.
Okay, so here's what this means, guys. If we win and the Seahawks have a turnover and Hall and Mafe don't get a second half, then nobody can win this week because there'll be no tiebreakers. There'll be no. Oh, I'll have to go on closest total point margin. I forgot I had that.
There we go.
I have that written down on my breakdown of how I break the ties.
All right. I mean, if you want to make it cleaner, I'll go 21-20 because I do think it's going to be really close, but I just don't see the Cards ever getting
20.
I don't think they're going to break 20 points. I just don't see a land in the world in which they do that. Like, I can't picture it.
Stick with what you believe. I just found my little list here, and total points will still be the one that makes the difference.
That works.
So we're okay. I forgot about that. All right. Anything we missed in this? I know I got kind of specific on some areas. Maybe there was a specific thing about this matchup that got left off, Adam?
No, I think you did an excellent job here. It mirrored a lot of the thoughts that I had when I sat down on the couch last night and started going through different things regarding this upcoming game with the Cardinals. And I want to reemphasize how relieved Jonathan Gannon was on his coach's show. Like, that was the one thing that like flipped my whole mind about what this game could possibly be. Because I was like, oh no, they're really excited about what's happening here at the quarterback position. And it's not the chaos and dysfunction that I was hoping for. So I'd say that would be probably my only emphasis that maybe wasn't emphasized in the questions.
I assume, Adam, when you sat down on the couch, you sat down next to Kyler Murray, getting ready for some Call of Duty because he's thrilled.
Next week, baby.
It's coming out. Here we go. Yeah. He just wanted to watch previews with you because that's what he's used to doing, is sitting down now. Clinton, how about you?
No,
anything
we watch the Smurfs together because he relates with the hype.
He likes this. Did you guys like the little picture that ChatGPT made for me?
I did see that on the bench.
Questions?
It was great.
Yeah, it was
Wasn't that cute?
It was cute. Very
Tyler's
cute.
kind of a cute guy, and he adds a little fuzzy lovableness even when he gets grouchy. Clinton, anything
Got a
we
Kevin
missed?
Hart vibe. Yeah. Or look. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing we didn't talk too much about, which is fine, it's one of those he's probably gonna go get his anyway, is just look, we got to be on Panda watch at this point for JSN. Like this is 8 games now, so I don't want to get overhyped with the Calvin Johnson watch and all that and the chase for 2K. But this is a really big game. Now, I want this to all matter for the Seahawks and not just be chasing a record that doesn't mean much to the team. But I think both things could be true here. Again, JSN only had 79 yards against the Cardinals the first time. Now they also have Will Johnson back. We didn't mention his name yet, but he's also a rookie playing some good. He's their left corner now. He's playing good ball too. So between Buddha and they've got Garrett Williams, he's a good nickel, and now Will Johnson, and this is a good defense. They're good. It's a good defensive back. So I guess the whole point being for the Seahawks fans is like, if JSN could do it again, and that might be like 90 and a touchdown, 95 and a touchdown, we literally got to be on this legit Panda watch for like, man, guys, he's got a shot. He's got a legit shot to break the NFL record, knock on all the woods. But that's pretty exciting because I do think that also goes will go hand in hand with Seahawks W's. I like both things.
This was the first time in a while I haven't had any kind of JSN pointing question. And it's probably because I was afraid I could just talk about him for a long period of time. There's just so much material you can talk about with him. Yeah. What a season he's having. What an effective season he's having, not just a numbers season he's having. So, yep, this is another one. I mean, he did it against the Texans. Who can stop him? You can try the ridiculous defense that the commies tried, where basically we're going to put singles on everybody and then anybody else is going to watch JSN. He still got his yards and he opened things up for his brothers. So I like that one as well. All right, gentlemen, I think we've covered it all unless we talked about JSN for another hour, which of course we could. But with that, what if we say, Adam?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Kyler's watching the game with us from the pitch.
Go Hawks. And now we get to go play nope. And now we get to go play. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just get this.
A Redskins team? Do you want me to blow you up with that again? Hey, let me get your big rock out.